Hey everybody, I'm Oakley at Oakley Does Everything, and today we are getting ready to paint our guitar. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, just jumping in real fast. If you are watching this between July 1st and July 5th of 2021, I need you to go down to the description, click on the link at the very top. It is a link to the Great Guitar Build-Off website where you can vote for my guitar. Now, I have huge aspirations to make it into the top 10, and I can only do that if you go and vote for this guitar. It would mean a lot to me. I would really appreciate it. Have you done it? Yes? Good. All right, while you're at it, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment while you're at it. All right, now let's get back to the video. Like I just said, we are going to be painting our guitar, and we do need to do a handful of things to get ready for that. I've already done one of those things, and that is sand the body of the guitar. So I went and got that as smooth as I could. I brought it up to 320, and then on the opposite side, I put some black stain. This is the same as our fretboard, just to make sure that's nice and black and dark, and that way none of the natural wood comes up through from the face where the pickups go. There's not a whole lot of space to see through anyways, but I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't an issue in the future. And I think I am going to do the same thing on the rim, the inner rim of the guitar, and that way when you are looking at it from the face, if anything, like any really tiny gaps in the brass, you won't see natural wood. I don't want to paint this because it'll lower the tolerance for the brass to fit in there, and I don't really want to scrape up the paint. So we'll dye this black rather than painting it. Alright, moving on to the neck, I did touch up the fretboard because I did have some that I accidentally filed off when I was doing the frets, so I did that. I'm going to hit that again with some steel wool, polish up that brass a little bit, as well as my frets. Now, I will be polishing the frets and the fret dots right before I do my clear coat, but for right now, I'm going to put my attention to the actual neck and go ahead and sand that, get it smoothed out, flush, get rid of any dents or scratches in it, and then we'll go from 180 sandpaper, then we'll go to 220, then 320, and that's where we'll stop. Alright, as you can see behind me, I have the body and the neck hanging up. I also have a few nuts and washers over there that we are also going to paint so they are matching. Right now, it's just the process of priming, painting, and clear coat. I have everything covered, sealed off. I got my paint booth set up. I got some trash bags over my power tools so that they don't get painted on. We're gonna go ahead and do some primer. Alright, so it's the next day after painting and everything's looking pretty good for the most part. I did have some issues that I'll point them out to you here in a second, but I did go ahead and put the three main parts together and it looks kind of cool. So here you see we got the painted body, the brass plate, and the neck all together, and yeah, I definitely like the way this looks. Now there are some things I need to address. So for example, when I started putting clear coat over the fretboard, there were these like smudges that started showing up, and I'm not entirely sure what those are from, whether it's dust or spots where it didn't get stained well, or maybe I accidentally use the steel wool too rough. I don't entirely know. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna lightly hit this with some steel wool again, and then I'm gonna reapply the stain and not do anything else. The other thing is, something happened and I don't know what, but I started polishing the brass, and then On the final step, I tried using Brasso, which is specifically brass polish. And when I started doing that, like it just scratched it up real bad. I'm gonna try and rescue it, try and see if there's something I can do to get that out. I was recommended by my father-in-law to try using a Scotch-Brite pad, like a maroon or gray one, a really light one, and see if we can get those to lift out a little bit. It's got a really nice reflection, as you can see, but I don't like the scratches and I want to get rid of those. As soon as I have that cleaned up, I can clean up the other brass pieces and we can polish those up and put clear coat over it as well. That way it doesn't tarnish. And then we can go ahead and start working on final assembly in a couple days. So for the meantime, I'm gonna set the body aside. I'll take a look at the fretboard, try and get that a little bit nicer, and then focus my attention on the brass and hopefully get the clear coat on soon so that way it has a couple days to cure. Okay, just to update everybody, I have gone and polished the brass pieces that I'm using. I have this one for the neck pocket. I have the pieces for my headstock right here, and then underneath is my brass plate. I finished polishing that and I didn't want it to tarnish, so I just covered it up in a towel just to try to give it a little extra protection. And what I'm planning on doing right now is I'm gonna go ahead and spray some of this acrylic lacquer clear coat over top of them. And I'm only gonna do this to the smaller pieces. And the reason I'm gonna do this to the smaller pieces is if it doesn't turn out well for some reason, it's easier to remove it and start back over on the smaller pieces than it is to do the big, full, large piece. So I'm gonna start with the smaller pieces, put about 3 or 4 coats on, and then I will check back in the morning and see what it looks like. And then after that, I'll know whether or not I want to do the full body. Also, once you get to polishing, make sure to wear some rubber gloves because your fingerprints are gonna get on it, and then, you know, you don't wanna get all the oil and stuff from your hands onto it. It'll just keep it clean. I'm gonna make sure to give it another rub down before I put anything on, just to be extra sure. All right, so for you, it's only been a couple seconds. For me, it's been a while. I've been at painting these pieces for a long time, and I just want to update you on a few things. First thing is I got my Great Guitar Build Off Competitor shirt, so I'm pretty excited about that. It took forever to get here, but it finally got here, and I have it, and I'm going to be wearing it all the way to the end of this episode. Now, for everything that was painted black, I ended up doing 3 coats of primer, which were 2 light ones, a medium one, and then I moved on to black paint. I did about 7 light to medium coats of black paint. Then I hit everything, including the brass and the exposed wood of the neck, with clear coat, and I did about 6 light to medium coats of clear coat. Now overall it looks pretty good. It does have like a cloudy effect. It's not as mirror reflective as it was before the clear coat. I'm actually going to leave it that way because I'm actually a little worried if I go to try and fine sand this, that if it either removes it too easily or if it just doesn't have that same look. So I think as of right now I'm gonna leave it as is. And so here are the other parts for the headstock. Got some good shine to them. Not as bright as they were before, but we obviously want that clear coat on that to prevent it from tarnishing. Now with the neck, let's talk about the neck real fast. I actually had to go back and redo the fretboard. When I started applying the clear coat, there were some smudges, some dust things that I don't know where it came from. I didn't like the way it looked, so I went back, resanded that off. I reapplied the black stain and polished up the fret dots as well as the frets, and that's looking good. So I'm just gonna let that sit for a little while before I put some new clear coat on it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and turn my attention to the body of the guitar. I am gonna go ahead and start wet sanding this so that we have a nice, smooth, high gloss finish to it. All right, everybody, I am getting ready for what I am hoping to be the final assembly of the guitar. I have all of my parts right here in front of me. The neck, the body, the faceplate. I have all my hardware there ready to go. That's what I'm gonna do now. What I can think of off the top of my head is assembly and then string setup, string and nut setup, and bridge and all that stuff. Right now, we're gonna go ahead and put it together, and then we can go ahead and start with our final setup. Alright, so here it is all assembled, and I have to say it looks pretty sweet, and I'm pretty excited about it. Now, it's just a matter of putting strings on and adjusting everything, so here we go. Alright everybody, that is going to be it for this guitar build. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button, as well as hit the like button, leave a comment. That helps a lot. And of course, if you haven't done so, please go vote for me for the 2021 Great Guitar Build-Off. There's a link in the description below. Please go, please vote, and check out the other guitars while you're at it. There are so many amazing entries that are definitely deserve to be voted on. So make sure to vote for mine and go vote for some others as well. Other than that, we'll see everybody on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.